Hello, and welcome back to Mellohi, a DSMP podcast. This is episode 48, and today we will be discussing Sam Bucket and our theories about his origin. As always, we refer to the characters by name and specify when we're talking about the writers. We're back!
Hello!
There was lore!
There's lore!
Sam Bucket.
Yes, I haven't watched it,
Scandalous.
but...
Honestly, I think it's a really good example of something that I feel like Bad is very good at doing, which is taking a random bit and turning it into a really interesting piece of lore.
Dude, half
Yeah,
the stuff is just
good at
horror.
that.
I think Quackity is good at it as well.
Yeah, Quackity's also... Quackity's also really good at it. Quackity has an affinity for making the most random crap good lore.
He birthed El Rapids. He gave birth to El Rapids physically.
Oh, right.
And then he made that part of his backstory.
For some reason. Yes. That is in fact a thing.
Originally he was going to use El Rapids to put like billboards on it
Yeah.
for advertising reasons, and then it got blown up before he could do that.
Yeah.
It never got blown up. I think Dream took it down once, and then he put it back up after they settled negotiation.
Maybe I'm confusing it with when Quackity blew it up. Or did he blow
He
it
did
up?
not
I
blow
think
it
I
up.
just
He
assumed
took
that
it
this thing
down
was
block by
destroyed on the
block.
Dream SMP. Yeah, I think at this point I assumed that this thing was destroyed on the Dream SMP, it was blown up.
I
Just
mean,
because that's what usually happens.
you're not completely wrong.
Correct 90% of the time. It was destroyed because
Yeah.
someone blew it up.
Most of the time, that is a true statement. So, understandable.
But
Understandable.
dude, Bad just takes something stupid like Sam Bucket and then turns it into a horror film.
Bad just does glorious thing all the time. Yeah, so, I didn't watch the lore, so I don't know what happened.
Want a breakdown?
Yeah, that's kind of what you guys are for. So, lay it out
so
for
the stream
me.
starts. It's Sam's stream starts from his point of view, and he's arguing with Bad about Sam Bucket and telling Bad that Sam
Can't
Bucket
possibly
isn't
exist.
real, can't hurt him, all that.
You're drinking
Oh.
too much. You should go home. That's tired. You're stressed. Let's go rest. So like he sort of escorts Bad partway across the Prime Pap towards his very much destroyed house.
Oh, right, that's...
And then he starts getting, after he splits up with Bad, he starts getting a bit worried because he realizes if Bad is behaving weirdly, maybe it's because of the egg.
And it can't.
I mean, that's,
Yeah.
So he goes down to the egg
Yeah,
room,
yeah.
that's a valid theory.
and he sees he says that stuff's grown.
And then he heads towards this area where he remembered that Bad had run into after everybody, after the banquet had been interrupted, and they started fighting back. And so he goes down through the tunnel.
Just to note that it's the same area that Quackity was in when he tried to blow up the
It
egg.
looks like it,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not, because we don't know exactly where Quackity was when he blew up the egg, right?
Well, I'm assuming he was in that area of those rooms right beside
Yeah.
the egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
which-
that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, no, you're probably right about that. I'm just having a hard time picturing it in my head and remembering things. But yeah,
It's just, it's like all the hallway is made out of like
crimson bricks.
nether brick and stuff, yeah.
So yeah, he heads down that tunnel, and then I think he takes a right into an offshoot, and he comes across this less red, more gray brick area, and there appears to be pistons connected to bars of what looks like an old broken down cell. Like everything in that room was either cracked bricks or like there's cobwebs everywhere. But it's the thing here is that the door is open, and there's murals on the wall, and Sam goes in.
That's ominous. And doesn't bode well.
Right, so the area he goes into, I think the first area is the area with the farm. Yeah. So first he goes to like an old wheat farm where a lot of the wheat is like missing.
He has to take a
Okay.
torch because it's so dark.
And then into an area where there are empty like enclosures with, I think one sign says
Another
cows
sheep.
and the other says pigs, I think.
it was sheep. Yeah.
Sheep. Yeah, it was sheep. And there's a bunch of empty chests. And I think this is where he finds the first book. Let me just check on Twitter to find out,
What the book said.
because I can't remember exactly what's in the book.
Yeah. And, like this entire time, this entire place is super run down. Like there's cobwebs everywhere.
Mhm.
It's dark. There's no lighting. Sam had to bring in a torch from the outside to see what was happening inside. And it's just got this super creepy.
Alright, so I found Unbiased Lore. Because we use them again, I'd just like to recommend the Unbiased Lore Twitter account. They can be a bit slower on updating than some of the other lore update accounts, but they tend to be very thorough
Yeah.
in their updates because they're not doing them so quickly and trying to do them while the stream is going on.
Yeah.
So they're a very good source to look back on if you missed a stream or you don't have time to watch it. So the first one, okay, so apparently there was actually an egg symbol near the first chest. Journal entry L323. I was doing some mining today. I came across a strange ravine. There are red vines growing out of it. I'm going to investigate further tomorrow. Then the next one he finds.
And as he's going through them,
Journal entry.
the rooms on the walls and the ceilings are covered in red writing. Some of them have pictures on them. Some of them symbols of the egg. Most of them say, "Where is your bucket?"
Or don't forget to
Don't
bring a
forget
bucket,
to bring
stuff
your
like
bucket.
that. Journal entry C985. I dug further into the ravine today. I haven't found the source of these vines, but I think I'm getting closer to the source. It's buried, so there's a lot of material to remove. I think that someone else is down here. I'm hearing voices.
He
Oh.
keeps going down. He keeps going
Oh,
down.
there's also like drawings of like buckets.
That's ominous.
He finds
And there's a weird handprint one later on. Okay, so it goes on a bit further. There's a few rooms. There's one with an enchanting table in the middle of it with some bookshelves. And it's got like
it's an enchanting setup, but the enchanting table's gone, missing. And like there's not all the books are like placed fairly disorderly. Like there used to be a wall of books, but now most of them have rotted away or something. Again, like this place gives off.
But yeah, so there's 4 like pathways from this room, and he comes in through one, and then he goes in a circle around the other 3.
I don't actually remember this part. I was just too focused on Sam being, "Oh no, Bad, what are you doing? Bad, did you do this? Did you write these?"
Yeah, so at this point, when he sees all these drawings, he starts suspecting that Bad might be have something to do with it.
Yeah.
He finds another more journal entries. Journal entry M225. I finally dug down to the source. It's a large object of some unknown origin. Vines are growing from it. When I break them, they grow back. I can't wait to show everyone this discovery.
Oh no.
Journal entry
Bad.
E66. It's an egg.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Journal entry Z043. I've spent more time with the egg. I think I can hear it talking to me. It's promised me things. It wants to grow. It wants to feed. I'm excited to be a part of something greater.
Aw.
And in one of the rooms in particular, when he looks up at the ceiling, there's this giant mural of an egg and a green figure standing next to it that looks suspiciously like Sam.
Oh.
That's actually, I think that's the room where he finds that it's an egg.
Yeah.
journal.
And he starts panicking, right? He starts going like, "Oh no, oh no, 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 no." And he starts making his way further through like this. Again, this place is just super decrepit. Like, super broken down, lots of cobwebs everywhere.
So when he goes in through the 3rd path, there's like ahead of him, there's like this weird red portal. I think for a moment when I was watching it, I think I
this
accidentally
happens a
saw
little
Bad
later.
like logged
This
in,
happens.
and then he logged off.
Oh yes, this actually happens a little bit later. So before all that happens, he finds one of the rooms. It has all the buckets in that weird
the
ritual
ritual
that Bad saw it in. Bad's bucket is filled.
I think
and
one of
Foolish's is
the
empty.
things to notice.
Mhm.
Yeah, Bad's one is full, Foolish's is empty.
Yep, but there are more names this time. And it's all placed in, like, this really weird ritual. He looks, I don't remember what he finds in that room, but he keeps looking around, and then he leaves. And when he gets to the final area...
he finds a journal. Will I just read that out before you do the final area? Journal entry F39. I've shown the egg to my friends. Some of them can see how great it is, what it can give us, but some of them are, I'm afraid, need more convincing. I'm sure the egg can help with that.
Yeah. So he leaves.
Sure
Journal
can.
entry N100. The vines are running out of the room to go in the ravine. I'm digging the tunnels to help them expand further. The first one will be under his house. I'm hearing the egg talk to me wherever I go now.
Oh. Ominous.
A little bit.
So here is where he gets to the house that is supposedly Sam Bucket's.
Yeah, and so something really interesting. Oh, there's something we actually forgot was that sometimes on the mural we would see images of Bad, which is super interesting, actually. Like there was.
I think in the ritual room on the wall behind
there's
it,
a picture of Bad.
there's a
with eyes
mural
looking
of
down.
Bad surrounded by eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. God, the art is so
okay,
cool
so-
in this one, man. This is so cool.
He finds 3 journals in Sam Bucket's house.
Something interesting about the house area though, it's lit up. And it's not as broken down. There's grass, there's a tree. It looks like a normal ass house underground. But the interesting thing is that it looks like it's been well tended compared to literally everything else. It looks like it's been lived in. And outside the doorway, there is a nameplate that says, in the shape of a bucket, that says Sam Bucket. And Sam goes in and opens a chest and finds the last 3 books.
Interesting.
Journal entry L649. I've helped the vines get to the surface. They're growing thicker and they seem to go everywhere I go. I can't wait for my friends to love them the way I've learned to love them. Journal entry T293. The vines are spreading over everything now. It's getting rather hectic. People are talking about wanting to remove them. Why would they want that? To do that? The vines are great. I'm trying to get people to see that. I don't get why they don't appreciate them. The egg will tell me how to handle the situation. The egg has never steered me wrong yet.
Uh-oh.
Journal entry S883. I recruited several more people to my side. We're protecting the vines and helping them spread further. We've had to do some things to stop people from hurting them, things I'm not proud of. Then as he's about to leave, it's actually quite clever. Like he pretends like he's forgotten his torch and has to go back to get it. He sees a vine growing on the wall beside the house, and he follows it, and that's where he comes across the red portal.
And for a split second, you see a Sam there that teleports away, apparently. I didn't catch it, but a bunch of other people saw it, and this is very intentional.
I sure it was Sam, because when I saw it, I assumed it was Bad, because I only saw it for a second, and I assumed that he'd just been, like, setting something up there, and that it didn't leave in
But it
time.
was very on purpose, actually. They were in the Q&A afterwards, they confirmed that this was on purpose.
Yeah.
So, Sam Bucket can teleport, apparently. But yeah, he approaches the portal, and then he turns around. Sam Bucket's there.
Oh, wait, there's a bit more journal entry that I didn't read.
Oh yeah, he read the first
why can't
part.
why can't they understand the egg the way I can? I don't want to hurt anyone, but I don't have a choice. Journal entry T094. The egg and I have a plan to take care of the troublemakers once and for all. They won't go between me and what the egg can give me anymore.
Sam Bucket.
So Sam also concludes at this point that Bad hallucinated Sam Bucket
He's hallucinating himself.
to because of his guilt over the egg, basically.
Or something like that.
Or the egg controlling him or something like that. And then Sam Bucket appears in the room. And just remember,
So
this Sam Bucket has Sam's user tag and his skin.
okay.
Sam Bucket. Sam starts freaking the fuck
I'm
out.
assuming what he did is he used like an alt account with his skin on it.
I think it's a nickname thing. Probably. It's also possible he used his camera or like an alt account to play Sam. But
I don't think he ever types in chat, so we wouldn't see. I don't think we ever see
yeah.
that.
But yeah, Sam turns around and he sees Sam, or more accurately, Sam Bucket. And Sam Bucket says, Sam Bucket. And Sam starts freaking the fuck out. He starts panicking and he starts running away. And there's actually a second passage in this portal room and he follows it out. And he keeps running and he's freaking out. He's like, oh my god, oh my god. He's running and he's running and he's running and Sam Bucket behind him goes, Sam Bucket! And then Sam starts freaking out even more. And there's so...
And he gets up a ladder near Bad's house.
Yep, he climbs up this ladder, he looks down. He keeps climbing, he keeps climbing, he keeps climbing, he makes it out. Catches a breath, and then he spots Bad on the prime path above him, and he's right next to where Bad's house is, actually. And he walks over and is like, Bad, you won't believe what I just went through. I believe you, Sam Bucket's real! And then Bad's like...
Okay, but there's just like this really weird but very interesting thing that happens here. Bad like talks as if he only saw Bad like a few seconds ago, that he just saw them. They just saw Sam, when in reality it was quite a few minutes in between.
Yeah. Time dilation.
Which implies that time dilation, or it didn't really happen as Sam remembers it.
I'm more looking to believe time dilation because the same thing happened to Bad during the first Sam Bucket stream. Where Bad's goes on an entire adventure out of the house, sees Sam Bucket gets chased back home, and Sam is like, no, you didn't go anywhere.
I mean, it could be the same case that happened with Bad, because there is signs that the egg can mess with people's memories.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm pretty sure it's time dilation, mostly because he pops up in a different area, and like like you said, Bad. When he meets Bad at the end of his little escapade, to Bad it's only been like 30-ish seconds or something like that, and he says, wait, Sam, I thought you were behind me. So obviously, and he says it in a way that doesn't seem like Sam could have gotten in front of him so quickly. So I think it definitely is something to do with time dilation. Where, he experienced
That's
time
interesting,
slowing down,
because it
or
means
stop.
that the only real, the closest thing we have to that already is Carl time traveling.
It's very different. Very, very different from Carl's time traveling. But yeah, he starts telling Bad, like, I believe you, Sam Bucket is real. And then Bad is just like, what? Because they just got finished reassuring Bad that he was just tired, that he was just stressed. Sam Bucket's not real. And now Sam's telling him that he is real. And so Bad is obviously very confused. And it's not until Sam mentions the ritual that Bad starts believing him. But anyways,
I haven't really watched much of the earlier Sam Bucket stuff. What do we know about the ritual thing? Like, was this been mentioned before?
We mentioned this
in Bad's version, Sam Bucket had a bunch of name tags. He had like stuff, a little pillar surrounding this fountain, and there were name tags on them, and not name tags. There were like signs on them with people's names, and underneath the signs of people's names, there'd be buckets. And Sam described the same thing, even with how, and like, in both of them, Bad's bucket is filled with water, and Foolish's bucket is empty. But we don't know what the ritual is, like, for or anything, or if it's just a cult thing Sam Bucket does.
I mean, with the egg, it might be. If the egg's involved, it might be a thing.
Yeah. But there's nothing quite like.
I mean, we already know, like, the egg, like, maybe eats lives.
Maybe.
So maybe there's a connection of, like, sacrificing lives, because that would explain if bad's like someone who was very under the influence of the egg, and foolish is the one who was killed for the egg, that will be why they're both named as part of the ritual. They both have a very strong connection to the egg.
I think there were other names there, but they didn't have buckets underneath them. So the sample size is too small. We need to see what else Sam Bucket does.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I actually have a theory about Sam Bucket. Specifically, like, where else have we seen two Sams in the same place or at different places at the same time? His extra bodies. So my theory is Sam Bucket is one of Sam's bodies that got influenced by the egg without him realizing it, while it was just meant to be like mining or something.
That would make sense because it looks like Sam and it has the first name Sam, but that
It doesn't make sense in the timeline scheme of things.
Okay, but ignoring how sensible it is, it's just kind of hilarious, the idea of a Sam clone just becoming insane, and they become insane specifically over a bucket, and it's just running around going, Sam Bucket! And like, it's terrifying, but on the other hand, how embarrassing is that?
Okay, because actually one of my other theories is that, like, it basically, and this is like the whole, like, what if Sam, it didn't take as long as Sam thought, like, what if it was actually, like, all a hallucination created by the egg? And Sam Bucket doesn't exactly actually exist, it's just created by the egg to mess with people, to make them, like, scared and thrown off balance so it can influence them more easily.
I'll have to disagree with some of your theories there. Sorry. Because Sam Bucket seems to be like a really real person. And honestly, he's very funny. Because like Sam
Yeah, I do
knows
think
Sam
that
Bucket's
the
real. That's
Sam body, or like Sam robot that got corrupted, makes more sense. But that was kind of like what I was thinking when I was watching this. I was like, this feels like it might be all just like a hallucination.
It would be interesting if it was a hallucination. Like, that's a interesting, like, because, well, whose hallucination would it be? Because now it's a joint hallucination, so.
Yeah. And obviously the ladder exists, right? The area is underneath Bat's house. It
Okay,
exists.
so wait, I've got like one other theory, right? I'm sort of a mix of the two. Basically, what if Sam Bucket is Sam, but it's not consciously Sam?
Dude, that was my crack theory when we started watching the stream. Like, watch this be
Okay,
just
so
Sam.
think about. So remember how. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how it works. Okay, so Sam has been very involved in the egg war from basically the start. What if all the journals found that we think are from Sam Bucket were actually from Sam, and he was influenced into letting the egg. He mentions putting it under a house, like he mentions putting it in the place that it was found by Bad.
Again, I kind of want
And
to
he just doesn't remember doing that.
Well, yeah, but so there are like some very specific things we do know for sure, and that we don't know for sure. And some of the very specific things we do know for sure is that Sam Nook knows about Sam Bucket and has warned Foolish about him. The place underneath where we find Sam Bucket is very, very old. It looks ancient. And other things about this is that, like, we also know based on the journal that it's obviously talking about someone who found the egg and then let it spread, but in, like, DSMP time, the eggs have only spread once, really. So obviously there hasn't been a...
Okay,
Well, we don't know that for sure, technically, though.
That, like, the original egg, when it showed up, when it spread, was because of Sam, and he doesn't remember doing that.
So it wasn't...
Because as far as, like, his conscious non-egg influence self is aware, he didn't have anything to do with it.
So instead of Bad being the one who released it, was actually a Sam clone, and he's just not aware of it, is kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, so basically, like, Sam or the Sam clone
That would be kind of
released the egg by accident and put it in place for Bad to find it so that more people would fall under the egg's control. And the reason it looks so old and abandoned is because it's been like well over a year since that happened.
Dude, it's been well over a year since
abandoned for a long time.
This looks... When we first went into the room, I thought it was a stronghold that's been repurposed, but it's not a stronghold. No, like... I mean,
this is Minecraft, so we can't really tell how old stuff is.
Yeah, but,
we do know that whoever was in there does know, like, Bad and stuff, so...
Well, that's because
we don't know how recent that
Bad
was.
before, right? And he could have added new things after going back home. Dude even has an entranceway right by Bad's home. That's very, very creepy, actually. No, but, like, the thing is, though, I'm more partial to that this was... Because the whole setup, the way it's been, like, placed, everything that's been... The set design, essentially, the background, the setting of this place, the way it's designed makes it feel like this place is, again, very, very, very old. Like, more than a year old. It's got cobwebs everywhere. You see remnants of farms.
Yeah, but, like, this is Minecraft.
Empty.
We don't know...
Like, again, I feel like this is way more than just 1 year old. I feel like this has been around super long time because there's a very specific thing that, again, I mentioned at the beginning of when we started describing it, but the fact that this area had been locked away behind bars, but the Pistons have left it open, which is why I think this place was locked away originally, and then it was opened up more recently, and that's how Sam Bucket got out. Because I feel like Sam Bucket isn't actually... Okay, here's a crack theory. Sam Bucket is Sam's ancestor. I'm sorry. But,
well,
more seriously, I feel like
Sam
Sam Bucket doesn't have a direct connection to the characters aside from looking like Sam.
I would be like, what a plot twist would that be? If it turns out that Sam was actually, like, partially under the egg's control the entire time, is actually the reason that it came out, because he found it deep underground. And that's why it, like, suddenly appeared.
No, I don't know.
But like, based on the set surrounding, it looks like whoever has been there for a long-ass time, and that they were locked away for a purpose, and then something let them go.
Well,
the bars are broken.
So how long has Sam Bucket been around?
In, like, actual time, I think he was formed from Tina's stream when she was drawing these really cute characters. I don't know when that happened. I know for sure...
I think, like, a month or so?
It was at least a month ago when Bad saw... when Sam came over to Foolish's place and Bad was making the fruit basket. And Sam was just going Sam Bucket. That's what we know for, like, meta timeline.
So around a month. That's a month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And he's interacted with BBH only the last few weeks? Not probably a month, right?
He's shown up a month ago and interacted with BBH. And then a little bit later, there was the stream. Well, actually, there was a stream where Sam, I didn't see it, but apparently Sam streamed his perspective while he was Sam Bucket, which is really funny.
Yeah, I don't remember. I am not caught up in lore lately. So, I don't know, like, I do like the Sam Bucket is a Sam clone gone wrong aspect, right? Like, I feel like that, assuming, cause I mean, changing his skin is pretty easy, so they could have made Sam Bucket look like anybody, but the fact that he looks like Sam to me makes some kind of connection. Maybe it won't be, maybe it won't, maybe it will be, I don't know. But so I kind of like the idea of him being like a Sam clone that has gone haywire somehow, because we still don't know how the Sam clones even work. Plus, you could, I mean, maybe. Yeah, it could be interesting to consider him as like a, I don't know, I guess. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense, but it would be kind of interesting if you considered it as like what if, and this is obviously probably not true, but like back when Sam got affected by the egg, if one of the bodies that he maybe switched into or out of then got corrupted by the egg, but that's and went insane. But again, we don't know how the bodies work, and obviously that's just a random throwing things at the wall and seeing what sounds funny. I don't know. So like I do like the Sam clone thing. The fact that the area has been like clearly been around for a while and only recently been, and assumably like Sam Bucket's just recently been released from it, doesn't necessarily lead credence to, you know, it being a Sam clone, just because like if that was the case, then I feel like Sam would have like recognized that something was off, or like when he saw Sam Bucket or like experienced what you guys talked about with him like encountering Sam Bucket and like believing Sam Bucket, like in that case I feel like he'd be able to make the connection and be like, oh, what the fuck happened? But since that's not what happened,
his reaction was fear, and it wasn't recognition. He saw Sam Bucket and he freaked out.
I mean, we kind of have to acknowledge like the circumstances where he was like in a dark room and also terrified.
But he saw him, yeah, but like
it's possible that in the next stream he'll be talking to Bad about like, why does Sam Bucket look so much like me?
Maybe. Again, like I didn't watch it myself, so I don't know.
But like also just the diary doesn't fit with the diary is Sam Bucket's diary, and it doesn't fit with the events that actually happened on the Dream SMP, because Bad I don't know if Bad found it in a ravine, but Bad found it while digging out the Demon Hunter headquarters thingy that Sapnap and Tubbo and Fundy tricked him into doing. He wasn't out exploring. He wasn't digging because he heard a voice. He dug and then he found it.
And it was connected to those. Well, it was connected to those tunnels that we've seen by the egg before. You guys said, right? So it's connected into, or like it's near.
Can we find it quick?
Is it near the tunnels that are already down there with the egg?
Yeah, it goes further. Like again, it looks like it from because it took so long on the set. I feel like the setting is very important.
Right.
It looks like it was a cage, and then the bars have been opened or removed because there are pistons on the side. I don't think they were sticky pistons, but there were pistons on the side, and there's a hole in the middle of where the pistons were, with the like holding the bars out.
Okay, so actually we're talking about Sam Bucket and that the whole area being older than what was initially suggested. Journal entry N100. The first, I'm digging tunnels to help them expand further. The first one will be under his house. We know of like one other time that the egg has been in a house.
The egg was in the house because people put seeds there. That's what happened. I believe Aunt Frost was. And
no, I'm talking about the murder mystery episode of Tales from SMP.
Oh,
Mansion.
Yeah.
With Sir William.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Sam Bucket being a lot older than we were initially assuming. Then that could be the house that he's talking about.
Maybe. Although, but it wasn't just vines. It was the actual egg inside of Sir William's house.
I'm guessing
it could have originally been vines, and then William followed it to the egg and then moved the egg up into his house. Because it was like in a room in his house, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, that is interesting.
Which kind of implies that it was moved from somewhere else.
I don't know.
It must be
I
very
don't
painful
feel
to
like
move, though. Every time you break a block, it hurts you.
I feel like it is gonna be either that it's like a more recent thing that's happened like within like, you know, regular Dream SMP span, like Lamamber, like that like, you know, streaming portion of the Dream SMP. I don't know. That's interesting because in one case you're implying that Sam Bucket is, like,
Old as fuck.
probably not immortal, but old as fuck. Which is its own kind of
Maybe
terrifying.
that's what he wanted. Maybe that's what the egg gave him.
Ooh.
A very long life.
Ooh.
Maybe that's why he's so weird.
He's an eldritch
Because he's
abomination.
lived so much longer than he was meant to.
Yeah.
Because when he's writing, the writing in the journals is a lot more, like, reasonable than what anything that we've heard him speak.
Reasonable as those. I think he's able to write a lot more than he can speak. No, I'm just sorry. I just find it very funny.
All he can say is
But yeah, it could be because those journals are very old, and after so long and spending so much time down in those rooms, he's just, like, gone a bit unstable.
See?
Maybe? It's really, man, yeah, because it's unclear, like, how old Sam Bucket is. So it's either he's very old, which means that he's been trapped down there a long time and went insane, and that means that the egg's been down there in that specific spot for a really long time, which, I mean, we kind of knew.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, it could be, you know, it could be a more recent thing with Sam Bucket being like, oh god, I don't know, because I didn't watch it, right? So it's hard for me to really, like, make a judgment call on whether I think that, like, how old do I think Sam Bucket is? Because that is kind of, like, the question of debate here.
Yeah.
Is, like, how old is Sam Bucket? And I'm like, I don't feel like... I don't know, I feel like it could go either way right now. Like, I don't feel like we have enough information to really make a judgment call being like, no, Sam Bucket's ancient. Like, the setting being as old as it is does kind of imply the fact that he's been there for a long time, or at least that area's been there a long time. Maybe he is a more recent addition to things that are, like, maybe there's two separate, like, maybe the journals are from something older, and then Sam Bucket came later, although that seems unlikely. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I kind of do want to write a fanfiction with the Sam Bucket is actually just Sam theory, though, just because that will be a very fun fanfiction to write.
Yes.
From the perspective of, like, the sort of, like, existential horror of realizing that there's an entire part of your life that you have no memory of and doesn't seem like anything you would do normally.
Yeah.
That's just fun to write.
Identity disorder. I think, well, there is actually, I think stuff, but we do actually have confirmation that someone on Twitter has nailed what Sam Bucket is exactly on the head, because Bad and Sam, the content creators, they're such bad secret keepers. They leak things constantly, and in the Q&A session, they leak stuff constantly. They're a bucket with a hole in them.
I think they actually said that they would be doing the next Sam Bucket stream soon.
It was supposed to be yesterday.
I'm not sure exactly how
They wanted to do it yesterday night, but it's looking like the latest they said they would be Sunday, which is tomorrow, and they said they would give a 24-hour...
Yeah, so it might have come out by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah, basically.
Or maybe they'll come out around the same time, who knows? If they move it to Monday.
Yeah. They said they would give a 24-hour heads up when they would start the next stream. So if that's gonna happen, we'll get a notification soon. And if not, looks like it's another soon.
It's just another example of something being soon.
Soon.
Oh.
But considering it's like fairly close to when they had the last stream, like they're expectant to stream date, most of the stuff must be ready. And they just need to, like, find time to do it, or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, so Bad was browsing Twitter, after I think it was after his first Sam Bucket stream, and he saw this one person, apparently, who got it nails on the head, what Sam Bucket was. He didn't say what it was, obviously, but I think that does imply that it's probably not one of the most popular theories because he said one person specifically got it correct.
Right.
So it's probably either wacky, obscure, or so out of this world that it's not what any of us expect. Sam Bucket is Sam's grandfather.
Sam Bucket's an alien.
Yes, Sam Bucket's an alien. We thought it was purple, it was actually Sam
He's
Bucket.
like a very, very alternate universe version of Carl. Dream revived,
It's a secret messed up version of Carl.
Let's see, he revived, God, what was it? Rapids, and accidentally made it look like Sam.
Oh my god. Imagine.
Oh my god.
Imagine it's just a bad Carl clone. That would be the plot twist no one was expecting.
It's actually Dream in a Sam costume, just messing with Sam as much as he can as revenge.
Oh, I wish. I wish. Bonus edition of messing of Skepta.
It's not even a good costume. It's like Dream, but he replaces his mask with like a cheap paper Sam mask.
Dude, it's like Thompson.
It's like a plastic plate with paint on it.
Yes. It's Sam's great grandfather.
We've got a couple more minutes. I was gonna say we should do question of the week, but so we had Sam Bucket. Did we have literally anything else?
Oh god, did we forget to put the question of the week? I forgot to put the question of the week in the Discord again.
Oh.
So we didn't get any answers.
We're bad at this.
You guys should answer on Twitter more. Like if I forget to put on the Discord, just check Twitter.
Yeah.
We got egg lore, technically.
We're bad at it. Yeah, that's true.
You know, I'm just gonna put it. I'm just gonna put it on the Discord anyway.
That's fine. We can just reuse it.
Because it wasn't interesting.
We can just reuse it and then hope that they answer, next week. That'll work.
Something
Why
really
work
interesting.
harder when you could work smarter?
I'm just changing it from this week's to last week's question of the week was.
So here's something interesting. What if Foolish used to be the leader of the Eggs cult in the past?
What, when he was Death Totem God?
Yeah. Or like whenever he knew the egg that he's forgotten. Because
well, we know that like I think there's some connection between him and the village that went mad. Like I think he gave them statues shortly before everything went weird. So it could be that he put like egg spores like in those statues,
death.
And that's what caused that.
Or because like Sam Bucket very interestingly has a bucket for bad and a bucket for foolish in his little ritual thing. And he knows bad, like, and with this connection to the egg, that seems kind of sus. But he, like, bad kind of makes sense.
What isn't sus about Dream SMP characters, to be fair?
Everything. Because he's met bad, right? And bad's given him so many buckets. But he's never met foolish. So why does he have a bucket for foolish? Unless it's not really meant to do with whether he's met them or not. But maybe it's meant to do with their connection to the egg. And well, we know Sam Bucket must have been the leader of whenever the egg, originally, or whatever. He was the first person who found it. And Bad's obviously the leader of the egg pyre. So what about Foolish? What's his connection between all these?
I mean, that makes me wonder. We know that Billiam was probably like the leader of the egg cult at some point, so I wonder if Sam Bucket might go after Techno next, because they're presumably related in some way.
Stream.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know. It's hard to say. with some of the stuff because it's a lot of unseen, right? Like
Yeah.
we've gotten a little bit about Foolish lore, and admittedly, I don't think we've touched on necessarily what his backstory, like specifically what happened in his backstory, since I think that Quackity stream where we showed the village burning. Didn't Sam tell Quackity when he was thinking about recruiting Foolish to maybe not recruit that guy because there was something up with him?
Yeah.
I completely spaced that until right this second, and now I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what the hell was that about, and why does Sam know about it?
Yeah.
Wait, recruit which guy?
Foolish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the whole striking them with lightning thing. That did happen.
That's true.
Mm.
I just
Well, was
thought
Sam
about
there
it and
for
I was
that?
like, wait. He was, because then that happened and then he kind of freaked out and ran away from
Oh.
Foolish afterwards because he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. He has the
But,
power
you know-
of God on his hands.
Yeah, and I was just like, you know what, that's understandable. That man just threw lightning from the sky, so I can understand maybe not wanting to mess with that.
Yeah. I had a thought in my head. The thought's gone away.
As they all do.
Oh,
It happens to the best of us.
I just remembered it. Or so something unrelated to current, awesome, really interesting, the best kind of lore. Sorry. I love the lore stuff Bad and Sam do. They're really good. But
Yeah.
we got a dream stream and he was running around on the Dream SMP.
He was, which
Mhm.
is rare.
Yeah, a lot of nether stars.
It wasn't lore.
Wait, what are they called? They're not called nether stars. The things you use to make beacons?
Dude, he has 7
Nether
of those in
stars.
his freaking
Yeah,
nether
he's
chest.
freaking
Why?
loaded again. He is absolutely loaded.
Dude, I'm almost certain he's had those since before, because why? He has literally the last time he was on the Dream SMP was when he was hiding from CPK. I don't think he's been
I mean, he's
grinding
probably had
since
them the whole
because-
time, but
Yeah, CPK has actually been planning a lot about lore recently, so maybe that'll happen before this episode comes
Ooh,
out.
yeah. CPK's also
Maybe.
got little stuff
If
going
not,
on.
we can talk about it in the next episode.
Yeah. But something really interesting happened, and it's CPK ran into Dream, and then offered him a gold block, and then Dream rejects the gold block, calling him a peasant.
to be fair, he had 2 stacks of them, so
Yeah.
I can't blame him.
He
But,
literally goes, I
yeah.
had 2 stacks of gold blocks in my ender chest. Go away. Take back that piece, you peasant. And then CPK offers him his J-Dog.
Yeah. Which we'll see how that plays out with Ponk's most likely disapproval. Since
Why did you give him to J-Dog? I was making friends.
to be fair, I mean, if you're gonna give anyone your pet for assumably safekeeping, I actually would trust Dream. He's rarely online, so on that aspect, you're safe. But also, no one fucks with him, and if they do, they won't
I
win.
mean, yeah, to be
unless
fair,
he wants them to.
he's got a pretty
So-
good track record of keeping fish in buckets alive.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Not so much of everything else.
not a horrible choice, to be honest. So, good move there. I'm
Also,
gonna
just
say.
CPK posting a picture of Dream on Twitter. It's still new to the SMP. Who's this guy?
Yeah, Oh, it's fun seeing, the Dream team go back on the SMP every once in a while, though. And Dream, honestly, I've been enjoying every time he's gone on there. Even if it's not, lore, it's still interesting when you do see him on there and, just watching him run around and have absolutely zero knowledge of the server he himself owns. Thinking that, asking who put the signs on the pumpkins, which have literally been there for over a year. That happened before he even, his character even went into prison, I'm pretty sure. He has literally zero justification for not knowing what that is. But we're not gonna judge him too harshly.
Man's busy.
It's fine. It's fine, I just think it's very funny. But yeah, so we had Sam Bucket lore. Pretty much, I think, was really the only main lore that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know.
Planned CPK lore coming up, and a little bit of...
Nothing's come out of the whole Captain Puffy's letter to Technobate about joining
Oh
the
yeah,
syndicate
that
thing.
one. Again, I haven't watched the stream, and I know
We
nothing
won't
about
hear
it.
anything more about that until Techno decides to stream on the Dream SMP again.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's a bit reliant on
Techno
Techno
boys.
coming back on. Which
So we'll
will happen eventually.
hopefully we'll get a continuation of that within the next 3 months.
Yeah. God, our standards are so low. The next.
But then I'll be
3 months.
graduated.
Congrats!
Hey, we love to see it. Sorry, you said 3 months was when we would hope it would happen, and I was just like, wow, our standards are low. 3
So
months.
low.
Sometime we might get content. Woo! Yeah.
I mean, see, the thing is that we got a video from Technoblade a few weeks ago,
That's
Oh
true.
yeah, and he uploads like once every 4 months.
so that kind of just like set the clock back. So
I think.
I think we might have actually got like an answer or two from the last week's question of the week, if we got one.
Oh yay!
I think we'll leave that till next week, and maybe we can talk about it unless there's like any like super relevant lore that comes up. We can talk about maybe at the start of next week's episode,
That's a good idea.
and then we'll talk about this week's question of the week at the end of the episode.
Nice. So, what are the questions? Enlighten us.
Yes, we should restate. I'll do it. Our question of the week that we technically meant to do last week and then forgot to post anywhere to actually tell people about other than in the podcast itself.
And we did post it on Twitter,
Well, we did post it on Twitter, but when do we get replies?
but most people respond on the Discord server, which you can join if you want to.
Yeah.
You get like, right when everything's up, you get a notification for it. All you have to do is go into the server and leave an introduction so we can add you as a server member.
Yeah. Right, yes. Okay, so the question that'll be for next week, because we forgot, because we're bad. Which pair of Dream SMP characters do you think are the best / closest friends? And then we had a bonus
Besties.
question about Exile, but we don't really need to repeat that one. That one's fine. Yeah, so who are the best friends, the closest friends on the Dream SMP? And yeah.
Endersmile / something. Endersmile. They're besties, man.
With issues, we just don't really know much about Ender Smile.
We know nothing about them,
'Cause
and I am completely convinced.
Because
they're
we've barely
besties.
seen them interact, and we've never seen them interact positively.
Are you sure that wasn't a positive? Because it was a pretty positively smacking, sassing.
I have firm opinions, but I'll wait until next week to share them.
No, literally, the one time we see them interact, and it's just Rambo sassing Dream, and then Dream sassing him back harder. That's about it.
Pretty
Give
much.
us nothing, Kings.
Yeah, give us nothing. Shut up, Rambo. Jeez, man.
Honestly, it's gonna be so funny. Like, I'm really hoping that sometime soon we get to see them properly interact, because it's probably gonna be so funny. But like the actual interactions and just the reaction from Twitter.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Ghost Boo, not Ghost Boo, but like I'm stuck in limbo
I want
and
to
I'm
see
pissed
Ender
off.
Smile is real trending on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm down for that. You know, I am down for that.
Give us something, Kings.
Give us something or give us nothing. Already, that's all you do. Anyways, we should probably end this episode before we put in any more awkward silences and / or pauses of us trying to think of what to say.
And how to end.
Yeah, Sam Bucket lore, we should get more in the next week, I think, based off what
Hopefully.
BBH and Sam said. CPK will hopefully be back to streaming once he feels better, because I
Yeah.
believe right now he hasn't been streaming because he doesn't feel very well. Same with Rambo, who also hasn't been streaming because he also doesn't feel well.
Everybody's getting sick again. Yay!
I was really sick yesterday, but that was because I got my COVID booster.
Yeah. Everyone
That's
I
a-
know.
Get
That's a
vaccinated.
good kind of sick. It's a sick that is
Hashtag
working.
get vaccinated.
Hashtag get vaccinated.
This man, by Illumina, that man's gonna go back on there and start grinding. Anyways.
Oh god.
Fun episode, everybody. And, hopefully... you know what? As a bonus question, hit us with your theories on about what is Sam Bucket?
Who is Sam Bucket?
Who is Sam Bucket? Because clearly...
It's Sam from an alternate timeline. It's Sam from the future.
Clearly, we have divisive opinions here on who.
I'm not sure that would be a very good question, though, because this next Sam Bucket stream might be coming out before this episode.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
So it might be answered. So maybe we should do a different question for this episode's question, though.
Well, I was thinking we were just gonna stick with the first one. That was just a bonus thing.
No, I was thinking we could just answer two.
Good.
I mean, we can do two. Or, I don't know.
Because we've already talked about the original one a bit. I do think a question about Sam Bucket would be interesting. Just maybe not one that will probably get answered soon.
Would you? Or I guess it's.
Maybe a question about the egg.
I feel like.
How about a question about Foolish's backstory? Because we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. Because.
So.
I do think.
Do you think that Foolish worked with the egg in the past or not, and why?
That's a good one.
Sure. Works for me. Alrighty then. Well, there you go. Have another question.
Also, just a bit of an FYI for everyone who hasn't watched the Q&A stream after the Sam Bucket lore. Sam Bucket will be returning even after his final lore, origin story stream. So the three streams about Sam Bucket are going to be his origin story, and he will be a character that is going to remain on the Dream SMP after those the origin story has been completed. So we're going to be seeing more of him, which is great.
Hopefully he won't go the way of Mexican Dream.
Hopefully. I mean, to be fair, Mexican Dream is dead. To be fair. He is in limbo right now.
Oh no, that was what I was saying. Hopefully he doesn't end up dead.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That is a very good joke though.
Anyway, see ya, bye.
Bye!
Well, thanks for listening to the 48th episode of Mellohi, and we hope you enjoyed it. If there's any topic you'd like to hear us discuss, feel free to leave a comment or find us on Twitter at Mellohi Podcast, where you can also ask us questions or just get updates about new episodes. We also have a Discord server that you can find a link to in the description. See you next time!